You're an early stage founder of a neobank. You get a Slack message, SVB, one of the top 20 biggest banks in the world, is taking a huge hit in their share price, and you should expect a massive inflow of new customers.
I don't think me or my team slept for days. It was a rise to the occasion moment.
That's Don, the founder of neobank ARC. They've raised $181 million from some of the best VCs in the world. They'd only been around for a couple years before the SVB collapse happened, and they just got overrun with new customers.
We called an emergency all hands for the next morning and rallied the troops. Anyone who's not shipping code to develop the exact features that our customers were demanding as this market evolved in real time, they joined the customer success team, the onboarding team. Our office manager to our head of talent to our SDRs, they joined the onboarding team. And then we managed the rest really async over Slack, constant communication. The level of cross-functional collaboration that I witnessed, that our team experienced over that, call it 3-4 day period in particular, was really remarkable.
My biggest takeaway in this episode was the power of unity and cross collaboration. How do you keep that when you're not just in a crisis? It's a great episode. Boom. Welcome to Sit Down Startup Founder Podcast. We interview the best founders in the world and ask them what they did in the early days, right before that hockey stick growth moment. I'm your host, Adam O'Donnell, a former founder. I live here in San Francisco, and I now work for Zendesk for Startups. Zendesk is a customer support platform, and we offer 6 months free to qualified product-oriented startups. Two partner shout-outs. First, EXEC, an all-in-one benefits platform to empower the modern leader. They have exclusive travel and lifestyle deals. Check them out. Second, Sprinto. They're a top-rated security and compliance automation platform. Thank you for doing this, Don. I'm super excited to have you on Sit Down Startup Founder Podcast. You have built an incredible business with ARC. Don't want to go under the hood, but first, just give us a high-level overview of anything you can share around how much money you've raised, how many employees you have, just to get everyone a perspective.
Sure thing, and pleasure to be here. Thanks for including me in this awesome podcast. By way of introduction, my name is Don. I'm the CEO and founder of ARC. We are a digital bank for the tech community. We started the company out of Stanford Business School in my second year at the GSB alongside two classmates, my two co-founders now, Nick and Raven, in April of 21. So started out as a lean team of 3. Since that time, we've added 40 plus employees. We're approaching 50 this year with offices in San Francisco and New York. We are doing hundreds of millions of volume on both the funding and banking side. We can get into what exactly that means. And we have thousands of companies on the platform that are working with ARC to avoid unnecessary dilution, safeguard their cash, and optimize their yield through an array of financial products.
I love it. Well, I mean, could you give me the quick, for any founder that's like, okay, how do I put you next to the options out there, like a Brex, a Jeeves, or any other just traditional bank, as like what FCB was and is? Could you just give us a quick slot so we can put it in our brains properly?
Sure thing. ARC is the first full service digital bank purpose-built for Silicon Valley. I like to say that ARC is combining the white glove customer service and verticalized approach of a First Republic bank with the safety and protection of a too big to fail bank like Goldman Sachs, and then most importantly, with the UI and UX of a modern day SaaS platform that startup founders and their CFO suite has come to expect and quite frankly deserves.
That is interesting. So you get the technology that we all expect with that also that like white glove FRB kind of experience, plus the safety. The safety one I know is really big. I think that let's just go right into it. What was it like back earlier this year when SVB on that Thursday, Friday collapsed? Your world must have been crazy in that, but I'm just curious if you could take us into some stories that you had.
The most intense 72 hours of my professional career, to say the least. For the prior 2 years, we've been building out this banking product, starting out in a zero rate environment and talking about the value proposition of a software bank. A bank that makes it easier to access offline banks and diversify cash across multiple bank partners. It largely fell on deaf ears. We saw a lot of growth as digital adoption increased, but nothing compared to Q1 March 8th, March 8th through March 15th of this year, when for the first time, startup banking became the headline of every major news publication. It was Wednesday night, March 8th, when SVB announced that it would be raising $2.25 billion of equity to bridge a gap associated with the fire sale of its long-term bond portfolio. They bought some long-dated bonds, I'm sure you know, and in the rising rate environment, they needed to sell their portfolio at a loss, causing a $1.8 billion loss. And so that resulted in some panic, and SVB stock started to collapse in the aftermarkets Wednesday night. We called an emergency all hands for the next morning and rallied the troops. We knew that there was going to be major deposit outflows. The market was panicked. And by Thursday morning, I was receiving a deluge of text, Slack messages, phone calls, WhatsApp messages from founders who were panicked. Not only were they operating in a challenging fundraising environment, a depressed tech environment where it's harder to make sales, it's harder to grow revenue, they don't know where their next funding round is going to occur, where it's going to come from. Now they have to worry about their existing cash that's now even more precious in this environment, potentially being lost, evaporating, only because they banked with one of the top 20 largest banks in the US. So to no fault of their own, they now have this new problem, which they had never thought about, which is now surfaced as the number one issue facing their business. And so there was sheer panic in Silicon Valley and more broadly throughout the tech ecosystem. And so me and my team, we faced a wave of inbound messages from founders. And kudos to the team, within hours, so by early morning on Thursday, we had spun up marketing collateral, streamlined our onboarding service so we could spin up FDIC insured accounts for these startups within 10 minutes and help them get cash out of Silicon Valley Bank, which is what their boards and VCs were telling them to do, get cash out of SVB and diversify with ARC and ensure that they could safeguard those deposits and make payroll the following week.
Oh my gosh, man. I know that people have heard this story, but I just don't get old of just like the speed that you acted on. That's unbelievable. When was the first time that you heard of it?
Yeah. So Wednesday night, I received a Slack message from my head of West Coast sales in San Francisco. And it was a screenshot of SVB's aftermarket stock price. And then he shared the 8K as well. And the message was a call to action. The number one bank for Silicon Valley is going down. They'll experience more deposit outflows in the next few months, is what he said, than they've experienced in the last 40 years combined. We didn't expect it to happen overnight, to happen to the extent that it did. No one really did. But by Thursday morning, that became obvious. My phone was ringing off the hook all day from 6 a.m. PST through 3 days later. Really, I was still getting these frantic phone calls from founders. And one anecdote in particular, you have deposits on the one hand, so getting cash out, spinning up FDIC insured accounts. ARC could do it faster than anyone else in the market. And that's really a testament to our team. But a new problem also emerged for the companies by end of day Thursday, when outbound wires were being shut off by SVB. A lot of companies didn't get their cash out in time. And so come Thursday night, you have founders who don't know if they're going to be able to make payroll with 100% of their cash frozen in their primary bank. And they had this new problem. How am I going to pay my team on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week? Well, fortunately, ARC's only product isn't banking. We also have instant access to capital. We've built out this suite of credit products, and ARC is the only digital bank in the market that has an embedded financing arm. And so we had founders coming to us saying, hey, I need $1 million today, or I'm not going to be able to make payroll. All of my cash is tied up with SVB. And we answered the call. We would wire them money same day and allow them to sleep, rest their head at night and get some sleep, knowing that at a minimum, they could meet their next 2-week payroll.
What an amazing thing. I mean, just coming in and helping them in the most vulnerable time, something that we just never had to question banking in recent history, like something like this happening to a top, US bank. So I'm curious, just like you personally, from that founder perspective, like where were you riding on, say, like a Thursday, Friday, just emotionally?
I don't think me or my team slept for days. So it was a rise to the occasion moment for the team. It was all hands on deck. Anyone who wasn't shipping code, spinning up new features that customers were looking for, like $5 million of FDIC insurance. That's a product we pulled forward by about 6 months and offered within hours of the bank crisis happening. So anyone who's not shipping code to develop the exact features that our customers were demanding as this market evolved in real time, they joined the customer success team, the onboarding team, just to deal with the influx of hundreds of new startups who are leaving these regional banks to diversify their cash across our network of bank partners and protect their funds, ensuring that they could make payroll and continue to operate their business. To your point, this is the last thing a startup founder should have to think about, the protection of their cash. There's so many other problems that keep up founders and operators of tech startups up at night. Finance and who you bank with shouldn't be one of them. I'm just fortunate that we were in a position where we could help so many companies at a time of need.
100%. And what I'm curious about is like almost a case study of how you all operated during, say, that 7-day period from the Wednesday before the official collapse to like the Wednesday after. Like, what can we learn from that as founders? Because it sounds like you executed just flawlessly. I'm sure there's some issues, but like maybe first thing is like, what was your meeting cadence like within the team? Like on, say, like a Thursday morning, were people in meetings all the time, or were they just kind of working in Slack?
The team went into overdrive. We had the emergency all hands meeting Thursday morning to kick off the team, set up effectively new JDs for every member of the team outside of engineering. Within the engineering team, there's a complete reprioritization. I mean, we're working on product features that are shipping 6-12 months out. All of that was put on the back burner, and we focused on the immediate term feature set that's required pertaining to safety of deposits, rapid onboarding, getting companies set up with FDIC-backed accounts faster. That's on the engineering side. Meanwhile, everyone from our office manager to our head of talent to our SDRs, they joined the onboarding team just to deal with the influx of demand. And then we managed the rest really async over Slack, just constant communication. The level of cross-functional collaboration that I witnessed, that our team experienced over that, call it 3-4 day period in particular, was just constant barrage of inbound customers, was really remarkable. And it's something that we want to carry with us beyond, this episodic black swan event. The team leveled up, the business grew. We're on track to 10x plus this year. The momentum hasn't really slowed since March of 2023. But the team really rose to the occasion and came together and worked cross-functionally in a way that I hadn't really seen before at any point in my professional career.
The cross-functional piece is what I want to dive into more, because it sounds, is that the biggest difference between a normal, just like everything's fine kind of operation and emergency, or even just in the way that a lot of startups operate? But like, how can you keep that cross-functional collaboration unity moving forward, and maybe some things you're doing now?
The defining attribute that I look for when hiring new architects onto the team is this entrepreneurial trait. I look for individuals who have that hustle, that grit, and typically that 0 to 1 experience. Many of my senior engineers founded and exited their own tech companies before joining Arc. And so the engineers would talk directly to customer success, to SDRs, to the head of talent that joined the onboarding team. And if there was an issue onboarding a customer, it would be resolved almost instantly. Within minutes, we'd have engineers plugged in directly with sales, get on the phone with the customer, and ensure that the onboarding experience was seamless. We were spinning up new products. That insight came directly from these conversations and these inbound emails from customers saying, hey, how can I max out FDIC coverage? How can I diversify my cash today across multiple banks, not just one? We spun up that feature set within hours and in days of SVB's collapse. And that was purely driven by live market feedback communicated to the business team, and then shared directly in real time with the engineering team to reprioritize the engineering roadmap. It was really an incredible experience for us. And like I said, the momentum has continued, and the level of cross-functional collaboration at ARC is now a key defining attribute of our business and a differentiator relative to other companies that I've worked for in the past.
Absolutely. It's just like when people are united, you're just unstoppable.
Bonded by a shared mission, right? A common purpose. Like, we started this company to help startups grow. That was and continues to be the North Star for ARC. That came to life for the first time in a really meaningful way when the startup banking ecosystem was in free fall, and the entire team had this aha moment. Oh, this is the value prop. We're here to help startups not only grow, but in this case, survive.
I mean, they're not only helping the founders, but you're helping all the employees and their families. And it goes back to even the country would have been massively impacted if this had just fallen out and no one had came in. Of course, the government helping as well. But this is amazing. What's a backlash that's happened from that really intense 7-day period? Were there decisions that were made in haste that you kind of had to go back on, or any kind of sharing on that would be great?
Yeah. So when you build things, too quickly, sometimes you can create some tech debt. We've since gone through and just rebuilt the entire product from the ground up the right way, but with infinitely more insights from the customer. We have the advantage now of knowing exactly what the customers want, what the startup community needs in their bank partner. They need, and like I said at the beginning, it's frictionless user experience. It's the safety, the security of too big to fail bank rails. And finally, it's the white glove personalization that you got with your community bank. So we have dedicated relationship managers who came over from Silicon Valley Bank, startup banking team, and now working with customers, the same founders directly with ARC, but now with a true digitally native product experience and multiple bank partners to diversify cash and maximize yield.
You mentioned how close you were able to decrease that loop from the customer during that like SVB time. How are you continuing that now? Because it sounds like that is the thread that's making this work.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we like to ship quickly and test new features live in market with customers, and then iterate on that product, and then we'll double down based on that market feedback. And now that's core to our DNA. And so some of the changes we made, really simple. I mean, we have a Slack channel called customer feedback, and when we see something both negative or positive from customers, we'll share it immediately. The engineering team has visibility to that channel. They're responding to threads or iterating between revenue and engineering and product and design, and how we can improve a feature or remove one altogether to respond to the top priorities of our customers. And so now the goal is to really reduce that feedback loop and ensure that we're responding directly to the needs of the customers, which, by the way, continues to evolve at a very rapid clip. Even now, 6 months later, almost, reduce that feedback loop and ensure that we can ship features and test new features within days, certainly within weeks, but when we receive sufficient feedback from our customers that's shared by the revenue team directly with the product and engineering teams.
That's amazing. Is there anything you're doing like uniquely around that? I'm only asking because like if I'm a founder using ARC right now and I have an issue, like is it still just filling out a form or doing a chat icon, that kind of thing, or is there anything else? If you have a relationship manager, is it like sending them the email or anything else you can share on getting that to the engineer?
Definitely. So dedicated relationship managers for our accounts. These startups who are now banking with ARC and came over from their community bank, SVB, FRB, PacWest, they became very close with their RMs. I mean, these banks were the bedrock of Silicon Valley, and many of the most durable technology brands that you and I are familiar with, they were built on the backs of some of these regional banks. We want to provide that same level of personalization and customer service and ensure that we're building and shipping the right features for that customer set. And so dedicated RMs, dedicated Slack Connect channels, right? And so our customers have the option to have a Slack Connect channel, and they can chat with us real time. And we're answering 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're responding to our customers, ensuring that they know if they need us, we'll be there for them. That feedback is shared in real time with our engineering and product team. And we'll reprioritize our feature roadmap on a weekly basis based on the feedback from our customers, what we're hearing in the market.
I'm just being completely honest. Like a lot of CEOs say these things, but
Sure.
the way that you know it's actually true is by like what customers are actually saying and people in the market. And just offline, I just talked to someone, a founder of a company who verified all these things that Don was saying around. I was talking about the idea that ARC really came and filled in the gap that Silicon Valley had, that SVB had when they went out. But ARC, he stopped me and said, ARC didn't just fill in the gap. Like they came and added value. And I was like, that's good. So I know I believe you when you say all these things are actually happening, of course, but just thank you for sharing that.
No, it's really great to hear. I mean, I'll give you one anecdote or one small example. Just 2 weeks ago, we had our full revenue team come from all over the country to the San Francisco headquarters. We invited the full engineering team, and we had a multi-hour session between engineering, product, and revenue to share feedback directly with the engineering and product team and have discussions around the prioritization of our Q3 and Q4 product roadmap. And we went through and we stack ranked all of the features that have been requested and had discussion with our with our engineering leadership around which features we can prioritize, which we can ship the fastest, and which is highest priority with our customers in our ICP. And that's how we set our future roadmap. That's what we're building real time. And there were meaningful changes coming out of that meeting that we're now prioritizing in the month of August and September.
I love it. It's that cross collaboration. That is the takeaway from this podcast, is like when we're all unified around something bigger than ourselves. It's not about trying to get the promotion if you're in the team or like trying to be right. It's about what's best for the founder. And that's what I hear loud and clear here. And it's an honor to talk to you about this.
No, I appreciate it. Look, it really is just a byproduct of the team at ARC. We have very product-minded engineers and designers. That makes it really easy to collaborate and have honest discussions around what should be prioritized and when. And we iterate and we argue and we hash it out and we figure out what's best, what we can ship the fastest and get to market the soonest while meeting the needs of our customers and addressing the largest base of highest priority feedback that we're hearing from our customers in the market.
Don, this is amazing. The last question is, what is your superpower as a founder?
Sure. I'm a very execution-driven operator. I believe that there are such things as really smart people and really good ideas, but ultimately what sets you up for success is putting your head down, working hard, and executing. You can have the best idea in the world, but without grit, perseverance, and just pure execution, you're never going to succeed. And so in our case, that's one of the key elements we look for. I talked about this entrepreneurial trait I look for in all of the new hires at ARC. That's core to our DNA, and that's core to myself and my two co-founders, Nick and Raven.
Don, thank you so much. Well, this has been amazing.
Thanks for your time. No, it's a pleasure to be here and excited to be partners with Zendesk as well.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening. If you want to learn more about Zendesk for startups, check out our website, zendesk.com/startups. Also, we're always looking to improve, so don't hesitate to email me with any feedback on how we can ask better questions, guess the target, or anything else so we can do to better help you as a founder. My email is adam.o'donnell@zendesk.com.